Hi, I'm Al Pinkney. Welcome to White Fox Vintage Snowmobile, or WFVS for short. I've taken a lot of information off YouTube over the number of years. Repair information and how to build things and general entertainment. So I thought I'd put something back. Now here in Saskatchewan, we've been racing vintage snowmobiles for over 20 years in the province on drag racing on snow, and we've recently started racing on ice, oval racing, for about 5 years. We have 2 to 5 races a year depending on the weather and the ice. I have one vintage ice racer, a 340 Mercury Trail Twister, and if one ice racer is fun, then 2 must be better. So we're going to build another one. It'll be based on a TX Polaris chassis. And a note on my videos, I don't intend on rehearsing anything. I don't intend on cleaning up the shop so it looks production quality. This is going to be a real world build. I hope you can help me struggle through it. It will be a struggle, and I'm not here to instruct anybody. There's lots of people that know more about this stuff than I do, but just do things based on the way I know how to do it. It'll be on a budget, and hopefully it'll be functional. I asked you to refer to the website, SVORA, Sask Vintage Oval Racers Alliance, and I'll cut to the link in a second. Get you to look at that and see what we're up to up here, and please give me feedback on my videos. I know I don't know how to make these things, but hopefully you'll enjoy seeing what happens. Well, here is the start of the project. It's a 79 TX 340. Bought it from Fred, south of Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. Sorry, Fred, I don't remember your last name. It's complete with the pre-ventilated exhaust system, and all the cleats are broken. Not seized, but no compression. So this is strictly a donor chassis. We will take it all apart and see what we can make out of it. There's only one way to tow a sled around here, and that's with the power of the Viking. So we'll just hook on and show you how it works. think we're using this. Haven't started and I'm already tired. So the old TX is in the shop. What we'll start doing is just strip the whole chassis. We'll take everything apart we can and evaluate everything and start finding all the piece parts that we need to put an oval sled together. So we'll start on that. And this is our compact shop, 12 by 22 in dimension, packed to the rafters with odds and ends and tools and manuals. Air conditioned. Electric heating element or water circulated heating in the floor. That's the hoist. The pump is off a versatile swather, grain swather. Here's my company girls. And compressed air. Heavy ordnance. So there's our project. The belly pan will go right into the garbage. I have one or two half decent ones. I do have a good bumper. I was asked if I'd sell this gas tank. I guess I will. We'll see what's left under there when we get closer. Now there's no clearance between the clutch and the spindle to get the belt out. That gives me some concern because usually there's enough room, so I hope we don't have chassis damage here. There we go. Gate 61, or yeah, gate 6138. Throw it in the pile. Air box looks decent. I went to an auction sale and I bought a bunch of rusty old muffin tins. The perfect container if you want to keep track of what you take apart. It's not that important on this project, but bigger projects with a lot of pieces makes a lot of sense. Don't know if you can see in there, but I suspect a hint of canola. So the mouse has been at work. Perfectly good handlebar pad, but not usable because the metal fitting in there is rusted out, so we'll throw it with the rest. I know you're just dying to see what I'm doing, just getting at the front motor mounts. Front bolts are generally not threaded, but I think they're just binding in there, so now, as far as what race sled to build, our circuit in Saskatchewan has very few stock classes, mostly super stock and super mod in the vintage ice oval. The super stock allows pretty much any engine mod, carburation, internal work. The only thing you can't change is the exhaust, which is a limiting factor. Of course, in super mod you can pipe them, and there are other things you can do to the chassis. I could leave this as a 340, but it's one of the bigger classes, already very competitive, and I see a lack of sleds down in the 250 super mod, free air and liquid, so we'll run this super stalker in the super mod classes. And then there are a 300 free air stock, or free air stock, and a 300 super mod. So I think we'll aim at those four classes. We have a very strong running 250 TX drag sled that the engine will probably end up in here. So that is that. So there's what 37 years of accumulated grunge looks like. I don't see any frame damage. That corner is quite often broken out on a TX, especially the big liquids, but we'll know more when we get into it. So far so good. I think I will rip the heads off that engine and just see what's going on in there. Possibly we can set somebody up with a good 340. Probably should have pulled the clutch and the heads off it while it was in the chassis, so it doesn't wiggle around, but no guts, no glory, you know. Don't see any real head damage in there. Or in there, just like the day Mr. Fuji put it. I don't really see any problem here. The exhaust side, where we usually have problems with a meltdown, is very good. So I'm going to say the rings are probably just seized into the pistons, and somebody will have a running 340 here if desired. I usually name my sleds some kind of a weird name. That way when I tell the wife go and start the Mad Merc, she knows what I'm talking about. And after some deliberation and thought, I have decided on a name for this sled. I won't reveal that till later in the build. Probably when we get to the paint and decal stage, I'll let you know. But for now, we'll call it the W project. So you can speculate, maybe it's weird or whacked or whatever. But for now, it's the W project. So we let the sled thaw out overnight. Got quite a bit of the snow and ice out of it, so it'll be much better to work on this morning. So we'll carry on tearing it apart, and I'll introduce you to my work buddy over here. I've got a friend that always helps me in the shop, but she's not all that active this morning. So here's my work buddy. Her name is Jenny. She's a Border Collie Cross. She's totally engrossed in the snowmobile thing, as you can well tell, but she's good company, and she likes the heated floor in the shop. So I hope we don't disturb you, Jenny. It's always a relief. Now, Polaris secondaries are often seized on the shaft, as this one is. So that'll give us a tough time, but all this is coming apart, so we'll take the jack shaft out and the chain case apart, and we'll put that in the hydraulic press and press it apart. Not so nice if you're not doing a restoration. But Polaris used carriage bolts in their gas tank mounts, so that's not coming. for some heavy equipment. I haven't had a fire in the shop yet, but that doesn't mean there won't be a first time. So we will look around a little bit, make sure we don't have any open gas containers or flammables. We don't want to burn Jenny out of her bed. I've worn glasses most of my life, since grade 6. But much better to put a little better eye protection on. Now we should see how our carburetor's doing. Seized up choke. I've got a little Stanley brad puller here, which is a handy little pry tool. And the end broke off the throttle cable. So we have a carburetor here that's going to be next to useless. We won't abuse it right yet, but I'll put some more anti-seize compound in. Not anti-seize, penetrating oil. See if that'll... Looks like it's moving. A little bit of rust. The tie rod end has a bit of a twist to it, but I think we'll make that usable. And that one's really bent. So after you're straightened that, are you going to trust it on an oval sled? These are not the spindles we'll be using. They're 3/4 inch throughout, and then there are bushings in the chassis. But these are a chronically weak spot on a player, especially when you're going around the ice. This tie rod I think can be straightened, and we'll reinforce it with another piece of conduit over the top. I don't know about your shop, but my shop can consume tools and they all go missing. I just had to run to the other shop for a 7/16 wrench. There's none in here, usually 2, and there was none there, so out to the tractor, and I found there's 2 in there, so I grabbed 1. But it'll turn up. actually in good shape. Faded. But we're more apt to have function over beauty around here. My doctor told me use your power tools. It'll prevent repetitive stress injuries. This happens to be 11 wide. Timing chain used in the early Polaris, Arctic Cat and John Deere. What the gear ratio is, it's probably a 39 tooth bottom and probably a 17 tooth top. Which is typical Polaris 340 gear ratio. The 440s had a 19 tooth top and the 250s had a 15. There's always a series of shims and bushings and spacers, but when we put things back together we'll make sure that all lines up nice. So I know you're all attached to this beautiful gas tank full of water, but out she goes. As well, the magic Polaris bracket that holds the gas tank on and the seat snips into is rusted off, so I can't avoid it any longer. I have to take the sled partially off the hoist. We'll take the suspension bolts out with any luck. One down, that's good. Now the cross shaft is turning in there, so we'll have to struggle with it. That puppy came in front. Relatively intact Polaris skid. not too seized. It's been derailed for a long time. But these springs are not broken. That's a chronic deal because they are part of they're welded in. If you want to change these springs, not only can you not buy them, but you have to cut this apart to put them in. So not a great design, but we were all learning back in the day. So now we'll have to take it off the hoist for sure.